Man, let me ask you one honest question, and I want you to answer it to yourself without hiding behind excuses. When you sit across from her, trying to impress her with your best stories, do you feel that hesitation deep down? Are you afraid to touch her? You're sitting there, smiling, talking, maybe even making her laugh, but your hands stay flat on the table, lifeless, frozen, as if they don't belong to you. You're waiting for her to send some kind of sign, waiting for a green light, waiting for permission to act. And in that waiting, you make the most deadly mistake that ruins almost every possible connection before it even starts. Because while you're hesitating, while you're waiting for her approval, her subconscious has already made a decision. And that decision comes down to one small word: weak. A strong man, a man of real value, doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't ask for approval. He doesn't look around to check if it's okay to be himself. He creates his own world, his own reality. I know the title of this video sounds bold. Touch her like a pun, but before you rush to judge it, put aside the moral side for a moment and focus on what it really means. This phrase is not about being disrespectful or humiliating. It's a metaphor for complete, unshakable confidence. It means to touch her like she already belongs in your world, like you have the natural right to do so. Not out of arrogance, but from calm inner certainty. No fear, no doubt, no apology. More than 100 years ago, Freud and Jung looked into the hidden basement of our minds and found something powerful. They discovered that the biggest choices we make are not ruled by logic, but by instincts older than civilization itself. You can say all the right words. You can have a clever conversation. But while your mouth tries to impress her, your body might be shouting your fear without you realizing it. And guess what? Her body reads that message instantly. Today, we're going to break through that physical wall. I'm not here to teach you how to be another polite, harmless guy. I'm going to give you 5 rare, almost forbidden techniques of physical dominance. These are 5 nonverbal keys that bypass her logical mind and awaken something deeper, something raw, instinctive, and animal in how she sees you. But I have to warn you, if you stop halfway, you'll only get part of the truth. The most important secret for using this power correctly comes at the end. So before we go further, hit that like button. And if you're new to this channel and you're ready to learn the real stuff, subscribe now. Before we start, I'd like to know something about you too. Drop a comment below and tell me what city you're watching from. It's amazing to see how far this community of thinking, confident men has reached around the world. Let's start from the very base. Why does the body never lie? Before we even touch on the exact techniques, we need to understand why something as simple as touch can be so powerful. The answer is in our biology. The human brain has 3 layers, and the oldest one, the reptilian brain, doesn't care about logic, your job title, or your bank balance. It understands one thing: power, status, and territory, and its language is not words, it's touch. Touch is the very first form of communication we learn when we're born, and the very last one we forget before we die. It's honest, it's pure. You can fake a smile or say something clever, but you can't fake what your touch says about you. Confidence or fear travels straight from your fingers into her body, straight into her instinctive system, skipping all the thinking layers in between. There are 3 main truths that explain why physical touch has such incredible influence. The first one: touch marks territory. In nature, the alpha male moves calmly through his surroundings, touching others, showing with quiet confidence that this is his ground. He doesn't ask if it's okay. His touch is a fact. It says, "This is mine." When you touch a woman with calm confidence, you're sending the same signal on a deep, subconscious level. Her instincts pick it up perfectly. They read, "This man is not afraid. He believes in his right to be here. He must have status." The second truth: touch is a test of dominance. Every time you initiate contact, whether you realize it or not, her subconscious starts testing you. It asks, will he pull away now? Will he flinch? Will he look for my reaction? If you touch her calmly, relaxed, and without asking for anything in return, you pass. You show that closeness like this is normal to you. But if your touch is shaky, rushed, or followed by you staring at her for validation, you fail. You send the message: this is new to me. I'm uncomfortable. I need your permission. And that single signal puts you in the low status box instantly. The third truth touch breaks social defenses. Modern society has built countless invisible walls between people, especially between men and women. We have polite manners, formal behavior, and a whole nice guy. Script that tells men to be careful, respectful, distant. That script might make you look safe, but it also makes you completely unexciting. A confident, well, time touch breaks that pattern. Psychologists call it a pattern interrupt. It snaps her out of autopilot and moves the interaction from polite and logical to personal and emotional. In that moment, she's no longer a person talking to another person. She becomes a woman again, and you a man. That's the space where real attraction starts. Now that you understand how this works deep inside the human brain, let's go to the practical part. The 5 forbidden methods of tactile dominance. Each one of these is a key that opens a specific door in her subconscious. If you master them, you'll be able to communicate confidence and attraction without saying a single word. Technique 1, the correction. This is a small, subtle gesture that says everything about who's in control. Imagine this: you're talking to her, she's smiling, maybe laughing, and you notice something small: a loose strand of hair near her face, a slightly bent collar, or a fallen dress strap. Most men would either ignore it or they'd awkwardly tell her, "Hey, your hair is out of place." That's what an average guy does, but not you. You stop speaking for a second, just a short pause. Then, with calm, smooth motion, you reach out and fix it yourself. You tuck her hair behind her ear, you straighten her collar, you lift the strap back onto her shoulder. Then, without saying anything or looking for approval, you simply continue your sentence as if nothing special happened. Now let's break down what actually just took place. Logically, it might look like a kind act, but subconsciously, it's much deeper. You just entered her personal space and made a correction, not because you wanted something, but because you saw something out of order and decided to fix it. You sent the message: I see imperfection and I have the right to improve it. That is a gesture of quiet authority. Most men either fear entering that space or only do it when flirting. Your version is neither. You don't ask, you don't explain, you just act. That's what makes it powerful. Let's talk about execution, because how you do it makes all the difference. Step 1, notice the detail. It has to be real. Don't make something up or search for flaws. Just notice naturally. Step 2, pause your speech for a second before moving. That little silence builds tension and focus. Step 3, move slowly and confidently. Think of brushing dust off something valuable. Step 4, after you finish, remove your hand calmly and continue talking. No reaction, no waiting, no looking into her eyes for approval. You just go on. That's what makes it natural and dominant. There are, of course, mistakes to avoid. If you do it too quickly, it looks nervous. If you talk while doing it, like saying, "Oh, let me fix that," you ruin the whole effect. You turn dominance into a polite request. And if you stop to stare at her reaction, you give all the power back. The magic disappears. When done right, this single act bypasses all of her mental filters. You show her, not with words, but with energy, that you don't seek approval. You set the tone. Technique 2, the invasion of territory. This one's more direct. You're sitting together, maybe at a cafe, and her phone or purse is on the table between you. For most men, those objects are invisible walls. They won't touch them. They'll even move their own drink aside to avoid crossing that line. A polite guy might even ask, "Can you move your bag a little?" And in that question, he silently gives her the power again. But you'll do something different. In the middle of the talk, when you need room for your cup or notebook, you simply, without hesitation, reach out, move her phone or purse aside, and take your space. You don't ask, you don't explain, you don't wait for a reaction. You act as if it's the most natural thing in the world. That one motion sends a signal: this space belongs to me now, and her instincts pick it up. You didn't grab or demand, you just claimed your ground with quiet certainty. That's the essence of leadership. Her rational mind might not analyze it, but her body knows. A man who moves her things without tension is a man who doesn't see her as above him. He sees himself as equal or higher in status. And strangely enough, that makes her feel more secure around him. Imagine a woman speaking to you, her voice carrying emotion, trying to convince you of something or to make an impression. You listen to her, but instead of responding with the usual polite nod or sympathetic smile that others give, you decide to do something different. Right in the middle of her sentence, without saying a word, you slowly extend your hand. You do not touch her arm or shoulder. Instead, your fingers reach for her chin. You lift it gently, guiding her face upwards so her eyes meet yours directly. You hold her gaze for 2 or 3 long seconds, silently and intently observing her expression as if you were weighing her sincerity. Then, just as quietly, you let your hand fall away, maybe with a faint smirk, and say, "Go on." What just happened? There is something that most people would never even consider doing. It's a small act, yet it carries the weight of something ancient, something powerful. That simple gesture belongs to kings, to judges, to fathers, people who hold authority, who make decisions, who command without words. The touch speaks several messages at once. It says, first, your words aren't the most important thing to me. I want to see the truth behind them, to look at your essence. Second, I'm not just listening to you, I'm evaluating you. I am deciding whether what you say deserves belief. And third, perhaps most important of all, it says that I have the right to do this. Such a gesture tears apart the expected pattern of social interaction. It shatters the comfortable ground she stands on. In one silent motion, you remove the illusion of equality that she assumed was there, placing yourself a level above her in the dynamic. The effect this has on the mind is striking. Her rational side will cry out, does he think he is? But something deeper, ancient instincts that she cannot explain, will recognize the gesture as coming from someone of unusually high status, someone who doesn't follow the ordinary script. The precision of how this is done is everything. The touch itself must be light, almost weightless, but it must also be sure. You are not gripping or controlling her. You're merely guiding her face upward, establishing a connection. Your gaze in that instant must be calm and steady, confident, even faintly amused, but never angry or lustful. Those few seconds of silence where your eyes lock are the heart of the moment. That pause is when the balance of power shifts, when she subconsciously reassesses you. The first and most dangerous mistake is using this in the wrong context. This cannot be done in the opening moments of a first meeting or first date. There needs to be some connection, some level of comfort and rapport established first. The second mistake is having a look of desire. If your eyes betray hunger, you instantly lose all power and turn from an intriguing, composed man into someone unsettling. The third mistake is insecurity. If your hand shakes or your gaze breaks first, the entire act collapses. You look awkward, maybe even foolish. This technique is like going all in. It's not for moments of doubt. But if you have enough composure, quiet strength, and inner control to execute it properly, it can create a memory that she will never forget. In that single pause, you stop being another man in the crowd. You become a mystery, someone who cannot be easily understood, someone she'll feel compelled to figure out. That's the kind of impression that lasts. Now imagine another gesture, a quieter, more subtle one, but carrying just as much weight. The act of claiming. This one works on the instinct of possession. It's not loud or forceful, but it sends a deep message. I have a right to this connection. Its purpose is to make her body feel your confidence without a word. You are not declaring your interest. You're showing it through your calm certainty. You're sitting beside her. engaged in conversation. Maybe she gestures with her hand as she speaks. Instead of brushing her hand casually, you take it not abruptly, not as if asking for permission, but naturally, with purpose. You turn her palm upward as though you're about to read her future. You study her hand slowly, perhaps tracing a line with your fingertip, touching a ring, or simply observing it silently. You look at her hand the way a collector examines a rare and valuable item. The key detail is this: you don't ask, you act. You don't say, "May I see your hand?" You just take it because you move like someone who is used to acting with confidence. When you do this correctly, the psychological reaction is powerful. A woman's palm is an intimate zone. When a man calmly takes it without hesitation, it triggers a sense of inevitability, as if this closeness was supposed to happen. You behave as if your right to this moment is obvious. This suspends her resistance and stirs curiosity. Your touch should feel warm, unhurried, and certain. Don't grip tightly, just hold her hand firmly but gently. Your attention stays on her palm, not her face. This shows your focus is real, that you're truly absorbed in what you're doing, not waiting for her approval. You can comment softly, "You have interesting lines here," or "That's a beautiful ring." But often, silence is far stronger. Your quiet concentration communicates more than any compliment could. When you're done, don't let go suddenly. Let her hand go slowly, maybe with a faint squeeze, and smoothly shift to another topic. This transition keeps her logical mind from catching up, leaving only the emotional trace. The main errors here are simple but critical. Asking for permission ruins everything. Saying, "Can I see your hand?" destroys the magic. Acting too fast is another mistake. A quick grab looks nervous, not confident. And of course, cold or sweaty hands reveal anxiety. Calm yourself before you attempt it. This technique doesn't shout your intentions, it whispers them. You show that you already consider her within your sphere. That quiet certainty, that subtle claim, is what women respond to instinctively. It's not about dominance in the crude sense. It's about the comfort of being near someone who knows exactly what he's doing. Now, picture the final scene, the lingering departure. This one is about tension, timing, and restraint. When it's time to say goodbye, most men rush or hesitate awkwardly. Some leave too abruptly, afraid to seem too attached. Others linger too long, making the moment heavy. The lingering departure avoids both extremes. It lets you end on a note of mystery, a silent question mark that will echo long after you've walked away. You're walking her to her car, her door, or simply standing together saying goodbye. You say something simple, "Good night," or "See you soon." You place your hand in a natural spot, her shoulder, her forearm, or even better, the small of her back. This is normal, expected. But then comes the twist. When it's time to withdraw your hand, you don't. Not immediately. You let it rest there for 1 or 2 extra seconds, just long enough to be noticed. And then instead of pulling away abruptly, you let your hand slide off her slowly, smoothly, as if time itself slowed down. That extra second breaks the rhythm her mind expects. Her brain has already marked the farewell as finished, but your hand sends the opposite signal: "Not yet." That 1 second stretches in her mind like an eternity. It carries a quiet charge of desire and confidence. It's a gesture that says everything you need to say without words. This small, deliberate motion leaves an aftertaste. It's like the final note of a song lingering in the air. She'll still feel the trace of your touch minutes later. You've impressed yourself onto her memory in a way words never could. The key to doing this well lies in contrast and timing. The touch must start as normal within social bounds. The pause should last just 1 or 2 seconds. Any longer and it becomes awkward, shorter and it loses its effect. The sliding motion must be graceful and measured, not rushed. Picture your fingers gliding over silk or velvet. There's one major mistake: timing. If you linger too long, the charm turns into discomfort. Too quick, and there's no spark, find that perfect middle. Another mistake is fussiness afterward. Once you've let your hand slip away, you turn and walk off calmly. Don't look back. The moment should remain hanging in the air, undisturbed. When done correctly, this is the best way to end an encounter. You don't need promises or compliments. You don't need to talk about calling. You leave behind a feeling instead, one that makes her body remember you. And that memory will work for you while you're gone. Now, it's essential to talk about the line between confidence and aggression because these techniques, if misunderstood, can be misused. Power is delicate. What separates calm authority from intrusion is not the gesture itself, but the context, your inner state, and your ability to read her reactions. Context is everything. These gestures only belong in moments where connection already exists. When she maintains eye contact, laughs easily, leans toward you, or touches you unintentionally, those are signs the green light is there. But if she avoids your gaze, folds her arms, gives short replies, or keeps physical distance, then any of these actions would be completely wrong. In that case, it would feel invasive, even threatening. Confidence, not aggression, defines the difference. Imagine the hands of a surgeon versus a butcher. Both touch, but one brings calm precision, the other rough force. Your movements should always feel relaxed, measured, sure. Aggression appears as tension, stiff shoulders, jerky movements, cold hands. Confidence is warmth, smoothness, and calm rhythm. Women feel this instinctively. And finally, you must read her feedback and be prepared to step back instantly. You're not a mind reader. If she flinches, leans away slightly, stops smiling, or closes her posture, that's a clear no. A true man doesn't argue or push. He simply stops, gives space, and shifts the interaction back to talk. That gesture alone, respecting her signal, shows more strength than any dominance ever could. These techniques are never about taking by force. They are about expressing certainty, calmness, and self control. They are invitations, not invasions. Used properly, they build attraction built on safety and confidence, not fear or discomfort. At the end of it all, the truth is simple. Words fade, promises get forgotten, but the body remembers. It remembers the warmth of a confident hand on the small of its back. It remembers the light, deliberate touch under the chin that made time stop. It remembers the calm presence of someone who broke the rules without ever losing control. When you stop fearing touch, you stop being the safe, forgettable man. You become someone different, someone who acts with certainty, who communicates through unspoken signals. You begin to speak the oldest language of all, the language of genuine attraction, the one that never lies. And now, for every man who has lived, who has seen moments of courage and hesitation, think back. Remember the time when a single confident gesture changed everything, or when holding back cost you the moment. No names, no dates, just the lesson. Share it. Let your experiences become part of a collection of true wisdom, the kind of wisdom that can't be taught, only lived. Because these moments, quiet and powerful, are what shape how we connect, how we lead, and how we're remembered.